Yeah, definitely a new horizon. New general manager, new head coach, an influx of young talent through the draft, and a couple of veterans no longer with the team. Bradley Beal's era with the Phoenix Suns now over with the buyout happening and him landing with the Clippers. Here to talk about the offseason and all the activity, the television play-by-play voice of the Phoenix Suns. Not just a voice today, a face too, as we can see K-Ray via video. He joins us here on Bickley and Marotta Mornings. K-Ray, good to have you on the show. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. You know, it was a kind of a scramble here. I got the text from Jared about, can you join us via video instead of just a phone? Luckily, my hair and makeup people live relatively close, and so I gave him the thumbs up. So hopefully this is good for you guys.
You TV types,
well, you look
the K-Rays and the Tim Rings of the world. You're all the same, K-Ray.
I was complaining about the lighting and the camera quality in here earlier, K-Ray, on the YouTube. Can we get some studio lights and cameras in here?
Anyway, the Bradley Beal situation comes to a close, and Tim and I have been talking about it all morning. There really seemed to be no other way to go with all that had been said and all that had been done leading up to this. But now that it is over, how do you reflect on the Bradley Beal experiment with the Phoenix Suns, K-Ray?
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't think there's any way around it. I mean, just greatly disappointing. And I think that if you ask anybody in that organization, the people intimately involved in the decision, it just did not materialize and provide the kind of, outcome that I think everybody had certainly hoped and imagined would. And it's, I don't think it's any one person's fault. I know that human nature, guys, and you know this, being in this industry, human nature, especially when the outcome is as poor as it was, fans always want to blame somebody, right? It's usually one person they want to blame. And I know that a lot of vitriol has been thrown Brad's way, but there was a lot of responsibility for why this didn't work, and it just didn't fall squarely on the shoulders of Brad. He played a role, but he was not the only individual.
Totally agree.
And Matt Ishbia now is trying to fix this thing, and one of the benefits of getting Beal off of this roster is obviously, K-Ray, you're under that first and second apron. He's going to save a lot of money in the luxury tax, but also the flexibility that it provides now in terms of future team building. But at the same time, a lot of fans have a problem with paying Bradley Beal $20 million a year for the next 5 years. How do you look at that as they weighed both options and decided this is the best of maybe the bad options?
Yeah, and you said it. It's bad option A or bad option B. There's no good options here, but I think both organizationally and really more importantly, because I know some people have suggested, well, why don't you just keep him and send him home? I mean, okay, but at the end of the day, he was going to get really anxious about playing at some point because he is still a competitor. But I think more than anything, it was really about giving this current both coaching staff and executive staff like a completely clean break and saying, okay, this is the landscape that we are now operating in, so let's move forward. So you hit it right on the head. There is no great or even good option, but you take the best of the worst case scenarios and you swallow that pill. And I know it's a pill that they're going to be swallowing for a few years, but it at least gives you kind of a clean slate, a new horizon to look at.
Yeah, and we have recent experience, K-Ray, with the whole send him home philosophy. Just a few years ago, the Suns sent Jay Crowder home at a fraction of the salary, and the energy around that team was not the same with largely the same group. The Jay Crowder absence was always a cloud. I was never on board with the just send Bradley Beal home and let him rot on the couch at $50 million. I can only imagine how big and how dark that cloud would be over this team next year.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point, Vinny, because what you have in that scenario is, let's say that's what they did, and let's say that there's unfortunately a couple of injuries that occur, and it comes in the backcourt. And here you've got this high-priced guard sitting there at home that you're paying a king's ransom to. Mm-hmm. And so then you're going to create that faction of fans who go, you've got a guy right here. Bring him in. Get him to, get him on the floor. Get him on your roster. That's not fair to Jordan Ott, first and foremost. It's certainly not fair to the rest of that locker room. Again, I want to make it clear, Brad was not a bad guy.
No.
He was always great in my dealings with him, so I want to give him props. It just didn't work out. And sometimes it happens. It's unfortunate that it had happened, with this current Sun situation. But no, you could not afford to do that. You have to give Jordan Ott, this coaching staff, and this current roster every favorable chance to start moving kind of the chains forward.
Well, let's talk about that then. Let's move forward. So they're kind of in the same situation where you're going to have two guards in the starting backcourt. Kevin, I know you don't have a crystal ball. I know none of us know how it's going to work, but give me your best theory on why a Booker Green backcourt would have success, whereas a lot of times, and I'm sure health has something to do with this, but in terms of on the court, wins and losses, production, why would a Booker Green backcourt potentially work better than a Booker Beal backcourt did?
Yeah, I think, and again, I don't have any intimate knowledge of the offense that Jordan is going to run, but I just know based on some of his comments, I think that you can look at what Cleveland ran under Kenny Atkinson as a pretty good framework. And what you saw there is, Donovan Mitchell controlled the basketball a lot. The biggest takeaway that I got from Jordan is the amount of ball movement and player movement. And so with that, I don't think that you're going to see, again, the same guy bringing the ball up the floor every single time. The one thing that you're getting with Jalen Green that we've not had in, I can't even remember how long, is just the absolute dynamic playmaker because of his age, because of his athleticism, because of his speed. And so he can get downhill pretty quickly on somebody, which puts pressure on the defense. And now you've got guys who are sucking in and you create kick out opportunities. Having said that, I think we'd be naive to say that considering what we've seen in recent history makes us feel comfortable. But I think until we know what that offense is going to look like, I can't give you a definite, thumbs up. This is why it's going to work. But I will trust Jordan Ott, this system. And the one thing we've seen with Book is this guy is so adaptable, so amenable to doing like whatever it is he needs to do. And I will say also that he's gotten much better as a ball handler and a facilitator. We saw that last year. And I think what got him and the team in trouble was just the overall stagnation of the offense. And I think so if you've got a more motion offense, the ball, player movement, I think that lends itself to both Book and Jalen being better point guards.
K-Ray, great stuff, man. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
You got it, boy. Hey, it's just great to see you. Normally I get to see the back of Vinny's head for an entire game.
Sorry about that.
And Ring I catch up with at halftime as we're racing to the coffee table. So good to see you boys face to face.
That's right.
Good to see you, Kevin.
By the way, admit it. You're in California right now, aren't you?
Oh, I wish I was in California.
All right, brother.
That's television play-by-play, a voice of the Suns, Kevin Ray, joining us here on Bickley and Marotta Mornings.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.